welcome back to Total Spotfest. This is JJ Brownlee. That is Jamie Faulkner. We're back for a very nice, very evil edition of Total Spotfest. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you are watching us on YouTube, as I always say, you can drop a comment down below to join the conversation. Hit the like button while you're down there. It does help us out quite a bit. Subscribe if you want to hear more. And if you're listening to us, you can definitely get in touch to join the conversation on Twitter at Total Spotfest. So, Jamie, how's your week been thus far, man?
Busy. Cold COVID.
AF.
Yeah, COVID is doing a number on Megan's softball, so I don't have to travel up north as much, which I'm kind of okay with.
The team or the coaches, or a little bit of both?
Both.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm kind of cool with it.
I took a step back. It's like, we could chill for a week or two. It's good.
Yeah.
So, well, we hope you guys out there are doing well. Hope you're staying warm, depending on where you're at. I know as we're recording this here, the East Coast is getting ready to get pounded by like 2 feet of snow, and it's like
nice.
single digits throughout the Midwest, and people in California are laughing at us. But you have fire season, so
yeah.
But well, we could heat it up because a lot of wrestling from this past week, and Jamie and I attended another live show, a new promotion, and we're going to start with that. So
okay, yeah,
Dynamic Wrestling Federation here in South Overland Park is their third show, I think.
Third show, I believe
it's their third show. Yep, and we had some interesting takes on it. So it was a different type of venue, a different type of show altogether. I still don't know how I feel about them continually advertising Real Wrestling's back in Kansas City.
Yeah. The thing that irked me, and the thing is, I'm going to give them another shot. I am. It's just, one of the former patriarchs of Journey Pro is running this, and to do that is just slanderous to me. And I know that they're cool with each other, and that's awesome. It just feels weird, I don't know, you should be celebrating each other.
Even if you
it's
said for
territorial,
right? Even if you said it for the first show, okay, whatever, cool, but to keep saying it in the way it's said is just, that's where I'm kind of like, eh. Now it is a different type of promotion for those of you who haven't seen it, and if you have partaken or seen any Journey Pro, you would understand what I'm getting at here. It's a different type of feel to it. You made a great analogy to NWL.
Yes, it's NWL light, so it's family friendly for sure. There's no cussing, no blood. Nothing like that. There's lots of kids around us, and I felt really bad. I felt really bad because I was wearing my heel shit shirt, to represent my boys, the Howlets. And they told me I'm an idiot. It was great. But it's just one of those things, man. Like it's a different show, because when you go to Journey Pro, you are gonna get cussed at. It's going to be loud. It's going to be obnoxious. And this one was definitely more the casual fan who doesn't really understand chants. They're like, hey, I want to bring my kids to a wrestling show for them to have a good time.
Yeah.
But realistically, I know nothing about wrestling.
Yeah. Or people that we sat by a real guy who had a blast. He said it was his first wrestling show in a decade, right? He used to go all the time and stuff, and he had a great time, and it's cool. It's good. The wrestling itself was pretty good. We got to see some new people. We got to see some people we've seen at Journey Pro and elsewhere. We got to see, for the second time in 7 days, Dan the Dad open the show.
Yeah, and he's great. He's so good.
He fits perfectly for that. And then Premier and Howlett's had a great match. They just put on a good match no matter the promotion. And
yeah,
a few other matches. No women's match. Again, we were both kind of like,
that's a little weird. I mean, I appreciate the testosterone thing to some aspect. Women's wrestling is so hot right now. Why wouldn't you want that? And Yeah, I know. Like, I get it.
Well, but also remember, Walter had told us before that a lot of women tend to have higher go rates, as well. So, plus there's a schedule. Maybe they couldn't schedule. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Journey Pro usually does their shows on a Friday night. I think that's how they can swing some of this, because you might have people who are going to Chicago or Dallas or somewhere, within a half-day drive on Saturday. So Cassidy works. This was on a Saturday night. So maybe this, who knows? I don't want to speculate, but it would have been nice to see a women's show, a women's match. And then the main event was Dak Draper versus Jeremy, not doing a lion tamer. Dogwater Wyatt. So he only
That's a good match.
It's always a good match, and he only told you to go, to piss off like twice. So hey,
it was twice. And the thing was, since there wasn't a whole lot of chance and everything, it was very easy for me to like get after him there. Like I was all over him wherever I could. Like, do a lion tamer. Like, give him a lion tamer. Come on now. It was it was good.
It was a good time. It just, like I said, it was a different feel. You want to start a fuck 'em up Hallett's chant, but then you're like looking around like, go get him, Hallett. It's like, okay.
I know. They walk out. And there's a kid, and Hoodie like gives a fist bump. And he walks by, I'm like, fuck him up, Hoodie. And I see a kid, I'm like,
oh shit. Yep. So
mess him up, man. You got it, dude.
Yeah, we were wrestling Revolver. There was kids there too. Not nearly as many kids as there was here, but there's a few kids there. And the first match started off immediately with AC Romero was like, "I'm gonna fuck this guy up." I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." So anyway, yeah. Different folks, different strokes. It was still an enjoyable night. I said, we're going to give it another shot. To be honest with you, I mean, I would have liked a little more. I think it's just more. We've been to so much markdom sort of shows, Wrestling Revolver was kind of fit the same similar build, in the tree, if you would, of wrestling promotions like Journey Pro, downshoots of AEW style, those are basically the same sort of people you'd see at those types of things. This was just a little bit different. It wasn't quite like WWE necessarily, but it was more along that level. So, of the crowd.
Yeah, very PG. There's the one guy, Gil Rogers, who wears red and yellow, like legit looks like he's wearing a Soviet flag. So every time he was doing something, everybody's cheering for him, like, Gil.
We've seen him before. His shtick is that he never wins.
Yes,
fanfare, but he never wins. And
yeah, he's a Brooklyn brawler.
The guy in
his music did not fit him at all.
No, it was like post-hardcore. It one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, it was weird, but no, I mean, if you guys are in Kansas City, give it a try.
It's a good entrance.
It was fine.
Here's my thought: it's a good entrance into live wrestling.
Yes, I'm gonna probably bring Audrey to one of these. I think this would be a good one for her.
Absolutely,
she's been dying for me to take her, and this is the safe one.
Yeah, Journey Pro's more. What's going on, or you're a party boy or a woo girl. You want to have some fun, right? But not get in the ring.
Yeah.
This felt a lot more like getting into going to live wrestling, because it didn't run very long. It was nicely timed, and it was safe. That's what is a word I would put there. It's a good safe promotion to kind of go get your feet wet, and if you dig it, then you can get into a little more hardcore shit. So, all right.
Yeah. So, fun fact though, I do want to circle back on women's wrestling for just 1 second.
Sure.
I don't know if you saw this, but I sure as shit did.
I most definitely
did. I'm assuming most of our fans saw this as well. What are you doing May 28th and 29th?
Oh, wait a minute. I thought we were talking about something else. May 28th and 29th. I don't have anything planned that I know of.
You want to go to Portland, Oregon to go see Makito?
I mean, That's a lot closer than Japan, so well, wow. So she's gonna be in America.
Yes, she is going to be at Prestige Wrestling in
I want to go to
Portland,
Prestige show.
Oregon.
Period. That promotion is fucking killing it. Have you seen their last few cards?
Yes,
Oh my
and just to
god, they're
get her
killing it.
in. So I'm wondering if she's in here. That means she's gonna do an AEW run
I
or
mean,
something like fucking
she's got to.
Journey Pro. Like start a
Oh,
GoFundMe. Get me Maki Ito. Like I will donate
DJ
blood
Chris,
and semen, not mixed together, for this.
good call. I mean, Hartzell, Walter. Let's look, guys.
That's a movie reference right
Let's
there.
get. I understand. Yes, I know. Jamie's gonna keep dropping movie references. You had a request from Heather Librarian.
John Carpenter movies. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Just saying, you better follow through. So, okay, well,
that's why I'm gonna do AEW last.
okay, fine. May 28th and 29th, you said. Okay, cool. Well, we got plenty of time to mull it over. You'll probably talk me into it, more than likely. We'll see about that. Now, I want to talk about GCW had a show over the weekend. Before we get to that, let's do our typical thing. Let's wrap up the weekend wrestling, talk about some numbers and news. Do you have numbers, Jamie?
I do. I really do.
He would give me shit if I didn't set him up. I know this.
Yeah, I know. All right. So it was actually a good week except for 2 products, and those 2 products are under the same umbrella.
Uh-oh.
And they're in consecutive nights.
Uh-oh.
So we'll start with the first one that took a dip. The flagship Monday Night Raw went down from 1.633 to 1.613, so they lost 20,000 people. Yeah, but the next show lost more than they did, and that's NXT 2.0. I had to get it in there. They were at 647. They went down to 587. I'm going to put a pin in that as well, ladies and gentlemen. You think you know where I'm going with that? AEW Dynamite was back over 1 million. They're 969. They went up to 1.032, and I bet you money they got over 1 million on this one too, because this was Beach Break.
Beach Break next week. They're gonna get. It's gonna be really. I think it's gonna be really good next week. Last week was
Black, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. And that last week was the Moxley return, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was Moxley's return.
Good.
And clearly Moxley equals ratings.
Moxley equals ratings for sure. So cool.
Because we're gonna get into that again. We'll put a pin in that statement as well.
I have a couple of things to go along with that. Go ahead though.
Yes. Then Impact again. Nice numbers. They went up from 111 to 126. I was not one of them, but I'm a part of their DVR numbers.
I pay it for their monthly YouTube premium membership, right? I didn't watch it this past week, but it had Charlie Haas making his 8-year return to the ring. So take that, CM Punk, I guess. Other things too. I am so happy they're going in a good steady direction. Plus, upcoming for Impact, for those of you who might be on the fence, you might have already seen it teased online, but upcoming weeks, we're going to see Jay White and the Gorillas of Destiny in Impact Wrestling.
That just...
Ooh.
That just makes Jamie want a flamethrower. That's just fire there.
So anyway, hey, good for Impact. I think they're. I said they've been doing really well with their shows lately, so I'm happy with that number.
Mm-hmm. SmackDown was up. Excuse me. SmackDown was up from 2.174 to 2.255.
Okay, sure, cool.
Yeah.
They are. WWE is gearing up. This weekend is the Royal Rumble. No, we are not going to do. We're not going to watch the Royal Rumble. Even though that's what we started on last year, but we're not. But this weekend is the Royal Rumble. Insane! How amazing is this? So next Thursday, by the way, folks. Next Thursday is our anniversary. Exactly 1 year to the day. Leap year, how it worked out. Exactly 1 year to the day that we started. It's also the post Royal Rumble week. Interestingly enough, but 1 year ago, when we started this podcast, if we would have known that the Royal Rumble, the show that we started on, was going to be in St. Louis, we would have lost our ever living mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to probably watch it. I'm going to watch the Rumble matches. I think you said the same thing, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the Rumble matches. I will give it a go.
If anybody out there are interested for the Rumble, yeah, like I said, we're open to it. I understand that different, especially after our last interview we had with Jeremy Fine from Second Wrestling. If you haven't given that a listen, please do. He's an awesome guy, a rabbi who runs a wrestling promotion in Chicago. It's fucking awesome, right? But I get his point he made about how WWE fits, and how different. So cool, right? Cool. So anyway, good for SmackDown for winning the week again. Yay!
Yeah, and the little engine that could, they went from 526 to 594 Rampage.
That number
at 10 p.m. Eastern time slot
for a 1 hour show. That number is an interesting number. That correlates with something, I believe.
Yes, it beats NXT. And fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, I know we're not going to talk about it this week, but the one that just happened this week, it beat it too. I'm just saying, like, this was from last week's, and then this week, obviously because we don't have all the numbers, the one that happened on the 25th of January was also in the 500s, like 580 something as well, 584. I think it actually went down.
Well, last week's Rampage was. Did you watch it at all?
I did not. I was playing poker.
Oh, I thought your poker night was coming up. So Rampage, it was Jon Moxley's first match back. Now. They actually got him in a match in AEW before he wrestled in GCW over the weekend. So it was a live Rampage. So good stuff happened with that. Moxley versus Ethan Page, fantastic match, right? And Moxley looks so good. He looks so much healthier. He's slimmed up. He's leaned up a little bit. It's fantastic. He actually won by submission. His little chokehold, and then on his way out of the ring. Just what we want to see. He goes out through the crowd like he always does, and then onto the open area before the concourse. And there is one Mr. Bryan Danielson sitting there, just standing there by himself. As he walks on past him very slowly. It's like, yep, that's how you do it. That's how you do it, because that's what it's got to be. He's not in the title picture right now, and perfect. You also had Nick Jackson versus Trent Beretta. Okay, that was interesting. It was a fun flippy spinny shit match. Trent Beretta won actually. So it was supposed to be Bucks versus Roppongi Vice, but Rocky Romero got COVID. So it is what it is. Yeah. And then you had the most over man in all of wrestling, Hook, beating the living piss out of Serpentico.
Yes.
Oh my God, he just keeps getting more and more. And they're setting up some sort of little mini feud with him and QT Marshall. It's a good kind of starter feud to kind of get your feet wet sort of bit, So take one of his coaches and feud with him. That's cool. Then Jade Cargill and Anna Jay, which a match was a lot better than I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be Anna Jay getting rolled over, and she was not. She almost won it a couple times.
I will have to say this, and this is going to sound bad, and I know it does. I think this match was better than the Ruby Soho Jade Cargill match. It didn't feel as disconjointed.
Yeah.
Because I did watch this one.
I don't disagree with you on that. I felt like, sometimes wrestlers don't quite match up sort of bit, and like Ruby and Nyla did fantastic together. So and Ruby's been a pro, but, unfortunately Jade's had that. And she's the greenest of the green of all of them, right? She still shows that from time to time. She's shown it for a few different matchups that she's had. And I agree with you. I think the Ruby Soho one was one of them, and this one felt great. The two of them, I think it's because they are of similar talent, experience levels. I think maybe that's why they kind of fit together better. I don't know, but it was actually a really, really good women's match. Jade Cargill, of course, retained, but very good women's match.
Yeah, no, it was excellent. So those are your numbers, sir. I know you were watching something completely different than what I was watching Sunday. I was watching arguably the greatest football game that has ever been played that was not a Super Bowl.
I watched that too. Okay, I did. I had the replay that I watched later on for this, but I did watch this game, and I'm not being a Chiefs fan. I wasn't like everybody else around me with my heart palpitations going up and down, and 175 BP kicking in, and I was just enjoying the madness that was.
So, fun fact. So I haven't told you this, but my watch, it shows like when I exercise and everything.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you got like.
It said I was exercising during that game. Yeah, I was working out during that game.
Oh yeah, I've had that before too. Certain things, yeah. Mm-hmm. So
especially the last 2 minutes.
Well, if you
ain't overtime.
If you ain't into the footballs, which by the way, fantastic match. And I said if the overtime rules were different, they could still be playing because it's just nobody was stopping anybody. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Also on Sunday night was another landmark event, if you would. Okay. It was the World on GCW. Hammerstein Ballroom, GCW. Let's fucking go. And fucking go they did. Put this out here. This is now the best pay-per-view of 2022. Yes, there's been 3 now, but still.
That's a bold statement, but it's an accurate one.
I mean, Hard to Kill was very good. It was, but this I felt was just unbelievably awesome. It had a lot of stuff. Now, a little side note here. The Fight TVs it was only $25. I couldn't believe it. $25 on Fight TV. Like, holy shit, right? So Fight TV's COO Mike Weber recently gave a statement in an interview about the World on GCW. Okay, so the show itself sold out in person, over 2,000 tickets in the building, and he said that they did 7. This is the best show that GCW's ever done for them. He says that I'm looking for this. Broke GCW's promotion record for most fight buys. I'm trying to see here if he gave a number. I don't see a number, unfortunately, but it did exceedingly well for Fight TV, which I love to see because that means we're going to see more, better, bigger shows from GCW. And those of you who we've waxed poetic quite a bit about GCW since we got to go see one live, right? And maybe we haven't been as forthright about what GCW is. Because there's the thought, especially from those outside of Jersey and Eastern Pennsylvania and New York, that GCW is a deathmatch promotion, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's why I originally thought it was until we went to it.
Right. That's what people think. And maybe we haven't been as, descriptive about what it actually is. Because GCW is actually a collection of... Basically, it's like a Mark started his own wrestling company and said, I like this, and this style of wrestling. I'm going to do a little bit of each of those. That's kind of what it is. So it opened it up with a grab the brass ring ladder match. Okay. And it was a very good ladder match. Just bonker stuff. 7-man ladder match. You had Alice Colon was in it, by the way, who we saw at the death match in Iowa. And if you get the ring, you could challenge. It's the same thing as like most promotions, like golden ticket sort of bit, right? You could challenge any title for the next year, right? Well, the surprise entrance was AJ Gray, who is the current hardcore champion, I want to say. But he ended up getting the win. John Wayne Murdoch came up and actually interfered with Colon to kind of cancel him out of the match near the end there. So apparently a little thing they're going on with John Wayne Murdoch and Alex Colon, which, okay, cool for it. So good way to kind of start the match. Then you had my match of the fucking weekend. My match of for a while. This match fucked so hard. I might be pregnant. It was that goddamn good. It was the Lucha Rules 6-man trios match. So Team Gringo versus Team Bandito. You had Gringo Loco, Demonic Flamita, and Ares versus Bandito, Laredo Kid, and ASF, who we saw in Chicago. If you remember, he's the little skinny guy, no mask luchador. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, the spots were everywhere. Everything. And Lucha Rules gets a bad rep here, especially north of the border. Like, just everybody doing whatever they want all the time. And technically, Lucha Rules is you don't take in and out. When somebody goes out of the ring, hits the floor, another person can enter. And then it breaks down. But yeah. So favorite spot of the night. And you might have already seen this on Twitter. So, you know how the guy puts the dude on his shoulders, right? And sometimes they do a spot. And sometimes you'll have two teams, they put the other person's guy on the shoulder and they'll do a spot.
Yeah.
Well, they did that with all 6 men. So they had 2 stacks of 3 men meeting in the middle of the ring, and the bottom 2 levels were jarring each other out. The top 2 guys are going at it. And it was ASF, and I can't remember who the guy on the other side was, but it ends up breaking down by ASF doing a Canadian destroyer to his counterpart on top of the other tower. And it just kept going on. Gringo Loco got the pin, got the victory there. It was fantastic. So good. And then what might be very close second to match of the night, in my opinion, was Blake Christian, who was supposed to challenge Jonathan Gresham for the ROH title. And Jonathan Gresham was a late scratch. I did not double check. I didn't look to see. I don't know if it was a COVID related or injury or travel stuff. I mean, it is
winter. You never know.
So who knows? He couldn't make it though to the show. So he had to get a fill-in. They got a pretty good one because they put him up against Leo Rush. And as good as you expect, this match, Blake Christian is... I still marvel at the waste that WWE did to this man because...
Yeah, they're like, I don't know how to use this guy. He's athletic and charismatic. Yeah, let's
kind of like Leo Rush. Yeah, so they kind of fit together. But these guys did fantastic.
Yeah,
Christian got the victory actually. So Blake Christian won. Then you had one of the more interesting matches of the night. You had Joey Janela versus Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona is the most hated man in wrestling, simply because of the amount of vitriol that GCW fans have towards him, and he plays it off. They had remember when they had the before.
Oh, good.
Remember when WWE bought ECW and before they made it like kayfabe official bought them, that they had the whole one night stand thing where Rob Van Dam beat Cena for the title. They had the if Cena wins re-riot. Well, there was a if Cardona wins re-riot a banner in the exact same spot in the exact same style. Good throwback.
It was great. Yeah.
Him and the missus, Chelsea Green, come out to the ring, and he starts by just straight spitting a fan in the face with beer. And it goes from there. You had all sorts of twists and turns. There's this whole storyline they did that there's some photos. It's all Jake Roberts and Macho Man Randy Savage, Miss Elizabeth, the whole photos by the pool thing, photos of Joey Janela and Chelsea by the pool and skimpy little bikini, right? So anyway, so they're playing this whole angle up, right? Well, at one point, maybe about a third of the way through the match, Chelsea gets in the ring and there's all sorts of violence and mayhem all over the place. It was fantastic, right? But Chelsea gets in the ring and turns. She's facing Joey Janela. She's going to get at him. Turns around, kicks Cardona right in the nuts. And then the crowd's going ape shit, right? Because they've been chanting dirty things to her the whole time, right? About Joey. So she goes, go up. So he's going up to the top rope, right? This and that. And she comes over and punches him, and he falls on his nuts right on the rope. Cardona stands up. They did a Johnny Gargano. He has a cup, so he pulls out the cup.
Perfect.
And then it continues to break down. You had Hornswoggle come. You basically all the major podcasts, major wrestling, whatever the fucking major wrestling
podcasts. Yeah.
Sure. His figure show, you know. You had all those characters come out. Mark Sterling showed up. You had Hornswoggle come out from under the ring. You had answered by Marco Stunt making an appearance out of nowhere. I know.
Yeah.
Marco fucking Stunt. There was a Virgil, or Vincent as he's called, sighting. Vincent was there. And then at the end, it was a mysteriously masked man. He had a motorcycle helmet on, a black duster, right? Comes in and attacks Joey Janela. Who is it? It's Brian Myers, of course. And Cardona
of course it is.
So that was a lot of fun. And then after it, they're all beating up on Janela, and there's a blackout, and you get Sabu shows up. So kind of a nice thing. Oh,
nice.
I failed to mention that Cardona came out to enter Sandman, which is
of course he did, dude. God, I love Cardona right now.
He's such a good heel. He's so good at being a heel. He's like, I want to see him take that character to Impact. Be the heel, because this guy is great. All right. After that, you had one of my favorite matches of the night. You know, it wasn't a super long match, but it was so much fun. There was some good emotion in it too. Allie Ketch versus Ruby Soho. Hey, Ruby. And you know, this whole story about Allie Ketch. Allie Ketch is in Bussy with Effie, right? Okay, if you're not familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about how this is one of her dream matches, or whatever. And I thought to some people that weren't really into this match, I thought it was great. I thought this was such a good match. The crowd was really into it too.
That's good.
Ruby got the victory, and it's interesting. They're so far behind Allie, they almost booed Ruby at the end, and then they realized, like, oh no, we like them both. That's right. Okay, but it was a very good women's match. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett, Double J, making his GCW debut against Effie in a much better match than I thought it was going to be. I thought Jeff was going to look stiff and old, and just he didn't. He reminded me of the old, just like cynical, evil bastard Jeff Jarrett from like early TNA days, you know? And he played that well. He ended up getting the victory, using the guitar and then doing the stroke on Effie, got the victory. But Effie's a future world champion in GCW. Effie is fine.
Effie's amazing. Yeah,
absolutely.
Effie's awesome.
Then you had what was not the main event, Jon Moxley defending his title, his GCW title, against Homicide. So good fun match there. You could tell they were starting to like run a little long, because this match was definitely shorter than I would have thought it would have been. And then you have the Briscoes come out because they had to place an open challenge, right? So who's going to challenge them for their GCW tag titles? So you have Matt Tremont comes out. Matt Tremont's a deathmatch guy, right? He's very famous in deathmatch circles. He comes out.
Yeah.
And who's his partner? Who's it going to be? Out comes Dewey. He points at the screen. Here comes Nick Gage. Metallica starts playing, you know, from the bell toes, and the place goes ape shit. So this is Nick Gage.
Yeah, because he's been gone for like 3 months, right?
Yeah, October's his last time, you know. Yeah, October's his last match that he had. It was the match against Suzuki. So place goes ape shit. You know who wins this match. It's Nick Gage and Tremont. And once again, it was a surprisingly short kind of match. You could tell because they're trying to fit it into the schedule. You're right. The Briscoes, one of the Briscoes even tweeted out, he goes, "Goddamn TV pay-per-view time limits." You know, it just
yeah.
But and then afterwards, one of the kind of the feel-good moments, right? Nick Gage is out there, and they got their tight tag belts. He gets a microphone. The entire GCW roster, all the GCW originals. It's like Ruby and Jeff Jarrett and Moxley weren't, you know, but all the GCW folks, they all come out, fill the fucking ring, and very kind of hellfire. We are GCW, you know, this and that, you know, rah rah sort of bit, you know, how they end it. So feel good moment at the end there. If they were allowed to kind of run over, I think it would have been even better, because the last two matches were definitely shortened up. The Moxley match, I could see it kind of played a good, decent story, but Nick Gage's triumphant return was like a 6-minute match, right? And it's like,
Aww.
Yeah,
especially against the Briscoes, like you want that to be long.
Especially because they started off with him doing a spear through one of the Briscoes through a door that the Briscoes brought out and set up before anybody come out. So that's how they started the match, and then they proceeded to take halves of the door and beat each other until there was no more door in their hands. That's how they started the match.
That's awesome.
TV time, pay-per-view time limits be what they may. So it was still great fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it. I have one last little note about GCW, and then we're going to move on. I saw a tweet today that, and this is, of course, Wednesday, 26, guys. We taped the night before. So I saw a tweet, I guess if you're listening, yesterday. So the end of March 31st to April 2nd, in Dallas, Texas, there's an event going on. It's called GCW Collective. It's 3 days of fun, live wrestling events, merchandise, food trucks, and much more, along with the GCW World Fair. 17,000 square feet of vendors, exhibits, games, podcasts, stage shows, and more. There's a GCW event going on in Dallas, Texas at the end of March, beginning of April. Okay.
Podcasts?
I mean, vendor, there's a number to call for
get
vendor
in on that.
available.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that your way. Hey, maybe you guys want to go meet us in Dallas? I don't know. We could do a live stream. We can figure it out. We could actually be Total Spotfest live like we originally started as. Although we've never been live.
Yes, yeah.
So
That's
we're
fair.
on GCW. Highly recommend. If you get a chance to catch any of it, please do. Especially that lucha match. Oh, so good. All right, let's bring it back to more mainstream stuff. What happened on Rampage this week? No, not Rampage. What happened on Dynamite this week? Let's do that one.
Lots of stuff happened on Dynamite. It was, of course, Beach Break. This is their second one.
In beautiful, known for their beaches, Cleveland, Ohio.
In balmy Cleveland, Ohio.
There actually was a promo they did at the beach in Cleveland with a foot of snow on the ground. It was fantastic.
I mean, one could say Cleveland was a steamer because it's so hot. Don't be snake. So anyway, let's just run through the card real quick,
Do the card first,
and then we'll talk about some of the matches. So it opened up with Sammy and Cody in the TNT ladder unification match. I enjoyed this match. We'll talk about it. Somebody gave a hot take on it. Somebody gave it a super hot take I don't agree with, but we'll see. But the winner and undisputed champion is none other than Codelander? No, Sammy. Sammy got it.
Sammy! I don't know. I hate how he does that. But anyway.
Yeah, same. Then you had a squash match. You had Wardlow against Jobber number 42 and 39 respectively.
Hey, it was Elijah
handicap.
Dean and James Alexander. So, in a way, Wardlow beat Dean Alexander.
Yeah, sure did. Wouldn't beat the real one.
We're going to stick with that.
Yes. Then you had a very interesting trios match of Santana Ortiz and Jericho versus 2.0 and Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
It was short, but it was fine. Santana Ortiz got the win. I'm going to keep it right there. Say exactly like that. Then there's a bunch of promos. We'll get the promos later. Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet. I do appreciate that we got different women wrestlers on Dynamite. Like this is somebody new, and the match was actually really good.
Exactly, you give them the time to shine. More than one feud, good. We'll talk about that too. There was other women's stuff happened throughout the night, so only one women's match. But they're setting. They got more stuff. They got more lanes. So that's good.
Yeah. Layla Hirsch got the dub. So that was good. She is now the number one ranked women's wrestler on the power
they were
rankings.
1 and 2, so yeah.
Yeah. Then after that, you had the lights out match of Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole Bay, and this match fucked. Just easy as that. That's all I gotta say about it. The winner, surprisingly for me, was Orange Cassidy.
I'm with you there. I thought for sure.
Clean.
Mm-hmm. And we'll how about we end with that, since that's the way the show ended. Let's what do you want to start?
I want to talk about it. Okay.
Let's talk about it first. Let's talk about it first then,
No.
okay?
No, you're right. We got to keep the viewers on. So
where do you want to go first? You want to talk about
let's start with the ladder match.
You want to go to the ladder
match?
Okay.
Let's go right to the ladder match.
I loved the ladder match.
I loved it too. I thought it was a lot better than I was expecting, but it wasn't. Like, it's weird. Like, I had high expectations, and it was better than my expectations, but then it's like, oh wait, my expectations are really high too. True. I mean, the move of the night was that springboard cutter for sure, off of the top of the two ladders.
From the second to the top rung on a ladder, off the top rung of the ladder, to do a cutter off of Cody, who was on the other bigger ladder, onto the mat.
It was sick. Sick.
What?
So this is the thing I want to say about this. There was a hot take that came out, and there's somebody who's doing like a live stream right after. I'm like, okay, what is this? They're trying to say that this ladder match was the best ladder match in the past decade, and I completely disagree. It's not even the best one in this damn company.
This is a fantastic ladder match. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not the best ladder match of the past decade. That, hand to God, that goes to the inaugural North American Championship ladder match from NXT TakeOver New Orleans, I think, whatever. And
for me, it's Escalera de la Muerte.
I mean, that's the best AEW one. I mean, oh God, it's so good too. But I would have to give it to the NXT one, the North American. But
I won't, because that freaking match is cursed.
Well, for NXT, for the people inside, maybe not. Anyway, that match was unbelievable. Both of those matches were unbelievable. We weren't really doing this, back when Escalera de la Muerte was a thing, but that was our favorite match of 2019, so
2019, yeah.
I mean, that match was so good.
It was ridiculous.
I mean, as good as some of the spots we talked about one. There's other spots. There was a super duper plex. You had
I call that the platinum plex.
Oh, the platinum plex. Cool. We'll go with that. We had the crossroads off of both ladders, which looked really sick. So, I mean, Sammy sold the piss out of that thing. And but I mean, Escalera de la Muerte had a Canadian Destroyer off a ladder through a table.
Can't beat that. I mean, we did have a figure four with ladders wrapped around their legs. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, you had Sammy thrown into an upside down ladder and almost get scissored, and Sammy did a senton off of a 20-foot ladder onto another ladder perched on the outside that did not break, and it looked stiff as
it didn't budge. It did not budge. And I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, ooh,
both
Sammy's
guys
gonna be
went,
hurting.
Oh.
Yeah. No, like this was a total spot fest. It had just everything and anything.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. But that take, I thought you'd find a little interesting.
I mean, first of all, you and I have had this talk a lot. This kind of is one of the reasons we spawned our rating system, and I was very hell-bent on my thing that you can't go above a 5, because I think a lot of times when you're in the ether, you don't get a chance to sit back. I had to sit back for a week after the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker lights out match before I gave it 5 stars, because it's like, I just saw it happen. Let me make sure it was as good as I think it was. So you're in the ether. I kind of get where the dude's, okay, yeah, it was unbelievable. I get it there. But if you sit back and think about it, you're like, nah, Escalera de la Muerte by far, right? So it is what it is. What did you think of the Fuego angle?
I liked it.
I thought it had so much great stuff because Fuego comes out. He's, you know, tied to both men. You know, of course. If you couldn't guess, well, I mean, it's odd because Cody looks strikingly similar to Fuego too. I don't know what's up with that, but
Yeah.
maybe there's like a long distant relative thing. Who knows? You know, maybe he's related to Fuego too. I don't know, but. He comes out and tries to like stop him because at one point in time Cody's like ripping into him on the outside, right? And he tells him, "Stop it! That's not the point. There's ladders in the match. Go win the match. You know, you don't have to like beat him up further, sort of bit." And then he goes in the ring and he's still like kind of jarring at him. So, so Cody just kicks him and does a Tiger Driver 98 on him right there. Very Codelander-esque.
Yeah, and like the whole thing, like he's showing these signs of dissension, like Codelander's coming, and it's so obvious, and he's teasing us.
I don't think we're ever gonna get. I don't think we're gonna get full blown Codelander. I really don't. No,
I hope so.
I think I think we deserve it. I think it'd be awesome, but I don't think he'll ever fully go there because he's got people who support him. You know, still he's not completely hated. He's not.
But even as Codelander, I mean, that's the thing about like Homelander. Like people still support Homelander, even though he's a raging psychopath who kills people and drinks breast milk.
I know. Wait till you see Herogasm. If they come even halfway close to that storyline, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's bonkers. Total sidebar. Match was great. I loved it. I want to talk about. I'm gonna kind of encompass a couple different things into this here. I want to talk about the women in general. Okay, so the women's match, like we said, they've been building this feud up, doing it, and they've been doing it through all their avenues, which some people shoot on quite a bit. You know, oh, you're on YouTube or whatever. You have an hour on this, whatever. You know, you're getting content across. This is 2022. People get with the program, right? So they've been building this kind of feud here across Dark Elevation, Rampage, a little bit of everything, right? Between Layla Hirsch, Chris Statlander, Red Velvet. It gives them something to do because you can't have everybody in the title picture all the time. And what do you do with all your other women's talent, right? Give them something to do. So that's kind of a reoccurring theme throughout the night. You know, you had at one point when they were announcing the card for the next week, you had, "Excuse me," and out came Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. Nyla Rose shoots on Ruby Soho, hey Ruby, and she wants, you know, a rematch with her and all that. So you have another feud set up there, and then you've got Jade Cargill had extended an offer through Smart Mark Sterling to Julia Hart to be her next competitor, you know, but she has to sign a release form because, you know, the eye patch and shit, you know, and she keeps diverging. Maybe we're going down a different path, but keeps diverging further.
Hold on. Call her Snake. or at minimum, Julia Pliskin, and call her Julia.
You could call her whatever you feel like. I'm gonna stick with her shoot name. Okay.
I don't know why I haven't gone to that.
I am surprised as shit that you have only just now come to that, because now that you said it, I'm like, you should have said this like the first time you saw her in that thing.
Yeah,
you should have.
Julia Pliskin.
Wow.
I failed you. I failed you all.
I'm sorry,
Julia
internet.
Pliskin.
Jamie's sorry. Excuse me. Jamie's sorry, internet. He'll do better. He'll do better. But anyway, she keeps visually getting further distant from the Varsity Blondes. She was wearing like a nice little outfit sort of bit thing here today, and the little jacket and things. Making that transition, I'm telling you, it's happening. But so she agreed. So there's that, you know. And Griff's like, you know, you shouldn't. Your eye's not this. She goes, I can make my own decisions, right? And she signs a little thing, and so she's going to challenge for that. So in general, the women's division, they keep adding stuff to it. So and Britt Baker had a promo we'll talk about in a little bit as well. I want to talk about that separately, but I just want to talk about, I liked that there's now, whoa, Jesus Christ, sorry. New microphone is like in a different spot, so my hand, sorry guys. I feel like they're finally doing the right things, even though they don't have 2 women's matches a week. They've got more storyline going.
Yeah. And the thing too with Julia, that leads me into one of the promos I want to talk about, which was the House of Black.
Oh
because the House
yeah.
of Black was great, introducing Brody King like again, and then the thing that I notice a lot about this, I know Heather the librarian is going to break it down for us and give us an amazing
Heather's gonna
breakdown
break this down
in our comments on YouTube.
She's gonna give us some of that. She's also gonna get a little some juicy Wardlow action. He was the hometown boy tonight.
He was
such a big pop, so good. He also had a bit of conflict later on. So
yes, which we need to talk about because I really like that storytelling. But the thing that I noticed in that vignette was it was just those guys, just Black and King, and then they happened to show Pac when they were talking about Pac, but then they showed one other person,
Julia Hart, flashed her
Julia Pliskin. Yeah,
I mean, we all know it's happening. I want it to happen soon. And Malachi, of course, he's like, no,
they are inevitable
in due time. But it's just, it's so good. And
they are inevitable.
Such a good
that needs to happen. That needs to happen so bad.
Just
I
like
want
death,
that
we
so
are
hard.
inevitable. So
yes, exactly. That's why I was like, it's inevitable. Yeah.
I was like, what was the exact quote? Because I know I wrote it down. Just like death, we are inevitable.
We're inevitable.
Oh, that's a T-shirt. Okay, cool.
Yes, it's probably already out there. Pro Wrestling Tees.
I'm sure it is. So you had a bunch of other little promos here. Acclaimed promo. Apparently, Bones has challenged Moxley on Rampage this week. Good luck with that. You had House of Black we talked about. It was Team Taz that was at the beach with a very
that was great.
A very ill-dressed Tony Schiavone. And there actually is a beach in Cleveland on Lake Erie there, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story here, that was a funny little bit. Powerhouse Hobbs wearing his giant fur, and Ricky Starks is wearing like ski goggles and ski gloves and stuff, and so. But Starks accepted Jay Lethal's challenge for the FTW Championship in 2 weeks on Rampage. So good. Want to see more Jay Lethal, so that's good stuff.
Yes, as much Jay Lethal as I can get on my TV screen, I'm all for. I love me some Jay Lethal.
Yeah. And then the other promo that was out there, we have two that we're saving, of course, but it's going to be Lance Archer versus Hangman Adam Page in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks in a Texas death match. So that'll be fun to see.
That seems scary.
All right, you want to do Inner Circle, CM Punk, Britt, or how do you want to do that?
Let's just talk about the Inner Circle real quick because it won't take very long. So they're
breaking up.
Last Wednesday, yeah, they're breaking up. Like, it is so obvious, and like Eddie got to Ortiz and Santana about everything, and then they're like, what have you done for us? And they basically just did the whole match, and then of course there's a Judas effect on the outside in order to get the win, but like they're acting like they don't need him. Right. And I agree. I think it's time for them to fly.
Somebody, maybe it's a bit of manifesting, but somebody put out there a Photoshop image, LAX version 4.0, whatever the fuck, the new LAX. And it was Eddie Kingston, Santana, Ortiz, and Diamante. And 3 of those people have already been in LAX, of course. But you saw little nods to it. Because Diamante always does that dead fish dive off the rope. Mm-hmm. Ortiz did it, the exact same thing. And so little bits where I'm like, maybe not call themselves LAX, but have some sort. It'd be cool. So anyway, it's happening. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Most of this match to me was like the man of the night because I'm like, whatever, I don't care.
So the next thing is, because I want to say Britt, the MJF CM Punk
promo of the night. It
was so damn good. It was so damn good. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If this is a debate, and we've been doing these debates, MJF has beat CM Punk twice.
Okay.
I felt like he beat him on the mic
him tonight.
I do.
I don't. I think he did for the most part, but Punk comes out by himself first. For those of you who haven't seen, Punk comes out by himself, dresses wrestling gear, calls out MJF. Right, he's not going to. He comes out. He's in a suit. This and that, and he does. He owns the majority of his time here. Sets up that he accepts the match next week in Chicago. Right.
In Chicago, of all places.
And then he shoots on Cleveland even more and a few other things. And then he turns it back to Punk. And this is where I felt like Punk won this, because he just eventually he gets jumped by the whole Pinnacle. But before he does that, he's got some good, just real solid jibes in there. So I think it's gold no matter what. Every time these two are together on screen.
I am honestly shocked and surprised CM Punk let MJF fly with the whole Colt Cabana Sue thing.
MJF is he goes right up to the sun, man. He's playing Icarus that every week it feels like, because he just went right to it.
I mean, I'm surprised CM Punk let that shit fly, because that's a coworker now again.
Former best friend, business partner turned unfortunate bitter enemy of sorts into a coworker, and apparently now guy that you're cool with at least a little bit.
Which understanding is they have kind of buried the hatchet somewhat.
Yeah, I've heard that they're cool with it. It's like they're not going to go out and go spend a weekend in Vegas together and shit like that, but they're cool enough with each other, right? They're like, all right, no hard feelings, cool, see you later, bye, right? One of those things.
Yeah. So
Britt
Baker. But I enjoyed it. The big thing I got out of the whole thing, though, the biggest thing was Wardlow. It was the whole Wardlow thing. Like,
talk about that.
Pinnacle's beating the shit out of CM Punk, and Wardlow's just standing off to the side.
This is Wardlow's hometown, by the way. If we didn't already mention it earlier, I think we did. But yeah, this is Wardlow's hometown, so he's over as fuck here.
Yeah, and he's like looking pissed, like he doesn't want to be in there. He's pissed that they're doing this to CM Punk. Yep. Like you can just see it. You can feel and then MJF orders him to do that power bomb, and he does it on the chair. And
but almost begrudgingly.
I was 100% begrudgingly. He didn't want to do it at all.
He comes over slowly, and then they put him underneath in between his legs, and finally he's like, eventually does the power bomb on the chair. So I'm telling you,
it's happening next week. It's starting next week.
Well, next week puts it out just about a month out, give or take, from Revolution. So I could see that, especially because that's the match, right? So do you think we're going to get Wardlow MJF at Revolution, or will we get Punk MJF 2 with Wardlow completing his turn?
100%.
You think it's going to be the completion of the turn? That to me makes more sense, I believe.
Or they do a tag team match, Wardlow Punk versus two people at the Pinnacle, which would be MJF and Spears, which would be the perfect two. That would be storytelling at its finest, right there.
Would be. I feel like you could save that for after, because you've got. Remember, part of their deal with Turner Broad. It's not Turner Broadcast. Whatever the hell. I keep wanting to say Turner Media. I don't know what it's now called, but part of their TV deal was that Rampage stays on TNT, and TNT gets X number of Saturday special shows, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing you say for that. I believe, because I don't feel like you want to give away. It's a Chicago return show. It's going to be a big show next week, but I don't feel you give that away completely. It's not clean. Some shit happens. It's the beginning of the dissension, the beginning of the actual fall of Wardlow from MJF. But I think you saved that payoff for the rematch of the two of them at Revolution. That to me makes more sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think something happens next week to really reinforce it.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
I would love to see that tag team match happen at Revolution, but I'd really like to see a clear-cut winner between MJF and CM Punk.
Right. I think
I honestly want MJF to be put over, just in full transparency, but it won't happen.
I think he might. I think it might. I think it might because then you would have Wardlow would have because if Punk gets put over, I think either way you've got a path for Wardlow to go after MJF afterwards. But I don't know. It'd be interesting because you got a guy who's undefeated versus a guy who, as a singles competitor, has only been pinned once.
Yeah.
So, somebody's record's getting shot.
I think the bigger play when you look at this thing is for CM Punk to lose next week, and then for him to win at Revolution.
I think that's right, because then you can insert him into the Jon Moxley
the title picture.
Well, you can enter him because you're going to have Moxley Danielson probably by Revolution.
God, that just gets my nipples hard just thinking about how hard that match will fuck.
But then you can insert. I think after that, if he beats MJF, you can put him in the mix now for the title picture. Consists of Hangman Page, who I love Lance Archer, but I don't think you're taking the title off Page, right? But you could insert him into with Danielson and Moxley in that conversation for the title. And don't be surprised to see a returning Miro. I don't know how long he's out for. He's banged up, he's getting some stuff fixed, but it feels like we should be getting Miro coming back in some form here, whether that's the TNT picture. I could see him entering in. Yes, I know it's a bunch of old WWE guys that are vying for the title, right? I get that. But also get over it. It is what it is, right? It's also a bunch of old ROH guys, if you really want to look at it that way too.
Yeah, I mean that's
to be really truthful, So interesting to see what happens. Something also is interesting, especially to me. I said earlier, fantastic football game this past week. Not a Chiefs fan. You listen to this podcast, I am a Steeler fan. And the Chiefs handed us, end of our season a couple weeks ago. And that's okay. We knew it was going to happen. We had our feel-good moment against the Browns in Pittsburgh for Ben's giveaway game. So in Cleveland, what does the AEW do? It brings out Pittsburgh's own favorite daughter, Britt Baker, for a Britt Baker appreciation promo. She comes out in her Pittsburgh gear, all black and yellow. Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, all this stuff with a Pittsburgh terrible towel, and just shoots the living shit on Cleveland. Her best mic skills of any woman probably in AEW. I can't think of another woman in AEW who's got mic skills as good as hers.
No, not even close.
Not even close. A couple notable lines here. Let's talk about the Baker that actually wins shit. And then she ends it there. You finally have a Baker you can count on. Just keep shooting on Baker Mayfield left and right and gets the crowd. I mean, it's rare. I mean, she's technically a heel, but it's rare that Baker gets booed over as much as she did. I loved every second of it. She left. She grabbed a fan's terrible towel flag and left with that. Fan-fucking-tastic. Loved every second of
it. It was awesome. The 9 sack reference was great because she won 9 awards and she's like 9. I got something in common. We got something in common, Cleveland. That's how many times the Pittsburgh Steelers sacked Baker Mayfield. It's like, god damn.
So good. So it made me, as a Steeler fan, it made me very happy.
I bet it did.
It is. So,
one thing I noticed about though, I did want to point this out.
You go ahead.
No Rebel, no Jamie Hayter.
I wouldn't read too much into that.
Oh, I am, because the hater bickering is real.
But the fact that they weren't there tonight, I wouldn't read too much into it. I think that this is.
I'm going to.
Well, do we know if either one of them had COVID?
I mean, we can assume no. That's what I'm assuming.
We can also assume yes. I mean, Tenno Dashwood had it.
No.
it's been passed along ever since the Cardona wedding. It seems like, I mean, fuck, Rocky Romero had it last week, you know. So I don't want to. I think they're not done with that angle.
Oh, they're not. I
think,
just noticed it was.
I think though that, much to your point about MJF, we speculated this months ago because rumor on the street was, you know, that Thunder Rosa is going to be the one who's going to take the belt off of they're eyeballing Revolution, right? If that's still the plan, which I feel is good, as much as I love Baker, I want to see that belt move a little bit. Like I don't like stupid long title reigns, right?
No.
A year, that's about as much as I'm like, okay, let's get someone else in here, right? Unless it's Ruby. She can keep the belt forever. Hey, Ruby. Now I'm just playing. No, but and they have the tendency, they've been moving other belts around a little bit, but the women's belt they seem to keep a little bit too long, in my opinion. I feel it's time for the belt to move a little bit. Plus, it frees up that angle, so you can have a hater face turn, you know, or whatever. So we'll see, but I'm not reading too much into it right now, personally.
I'm just hoping it plays out. That's more like. But I noticed it.
I hear you.
All right.
I hear you.
Can we finish it with the lights out match?
Let's go. Which, you know, the match was very good. I think the ladder match was a better match, personally, of the night.
I do too. The ladder match was better, except for one thing that put this match above all other matches in AEW history. Easy as that. This match was cursed by none other than the newly acquired
I love hearing this.
Danhausen. We were talking. I almost put my Danhausen shirt on.
I couldn't believe you didn't come to this recording without your Danhausen shirt.
It was gonna happen. Like, nah, fine, it's fine.
I couldn't find this one for the longest time. I had my yellow Danhausen in there, but I'm like, where's the dawn of the? Because it's the dawn of the Danhausen. Danhausen's dawn in AEW, and it's buried in the back of my T-shirt shelf. But for those of you who had not seen, or maybe living under a rock, you know, Cole goes under the ring because it's a lights out match, right? And they're just going up bonkers on each other. He's having trouble pulling the chair out, just caught on something, right? That's why I thought, I'm like, because we've seen it happen. People try to get a ladder and it's like opened up and they can't get it undone, and oh god, what the fuck's going? Oh no, there's hands. Someone's holding. That's Danhausen. Holy shit! And he immediately.
And I marked out hard.
Oh, I did too. I lost my shit. And he immediately cursed Adam Cole, who didn't win the match tonight. Adam Cole. And they keep saying this is the end of the feud between Orange and Cole. I think we have a first.
Do we insert? Do we get a Danhausen
Adam Cole?
Do we get Danhausen Cole feud?
He cursed him when he got pulled out from under the ring. He cursed him. He did the curse thing, and he lost the match too. So,
my god, what? So he's still hurt, and I know he's still nursing, even though he wasn't in a boot and he was moving around.
Rehab.
Which is awesome.
He started rehab. He's getting better. Yeah.
What if? Okay. Mark Stradamus is going at it since he's been cursed. Since he's been cursed, he keeps losing matches. Like left and right. Shit, he should never lose. He keeps losing until him and Danhausen go at it, where either Danhausen has to lift the curse. Like he gets Red Dragon or something to beat him up in order to lift the curse.
Or he has to beat him to lift the curse or something.
Yes.
Oh, I hope they do that because that's a fantastic angle. Plus, it makes no sense, you know, unless you're doing a storyline to not have Adam Cole in a title picture right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a great way to do it. This is a fantastic way. I love that idea. You let us know. Do you like that idea as much as JJ does? Because JJ likes that idea. Give us a comment, give us a tweet. Let us know. That's fan-fucking-tastic.
I should be a booker. I'm just saying.
You should be creative. You should be in creative,
yes.
Man. So, well, I tell you what. Apparently, it works. We'll go by A&W, get ourselves some applications, mail them to Tony Khan because apparently that worked. I mean,
clearly it worked.
I'll just mail them to Jacksonville and we'll be good. So, Danhausen's All Elite. The match ended, big spot on the ramp. They kind of did this kind of side slam from the top of the circle entrance tunnel onto.
It looked
through
bad
the stage.
too, by the way.
It did. So I mean, there's tons of big spots in it. It was fun. The ladder match was better, but god damn it, fucking Danhausen's All Elite, officially All Elite.
And when my first gut reaction was as soon as I saw him struggling to pull the chair out and I saw hands on it, I'm like, oh, it's Johnny Gargano, here it is. And then it's he's in all black, and then I see his face, I'm like, oh my, how's it? I was expecting this, and I got this.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh my God.
Expectation, and in reality, it was Danhausen. There was a Johnny Wrestling chant in the middle of this match. And Gargano tweeted about he heard it and he understands and he can't wait to get back and show us what he's got, this and that. So it's confirmed Johnny Gargano's watching AEW.
Yeah, most of them watch each other's show.
Most of them do, but yeah. Anyway, I think my original prediction is more likely. I think Revolution at the earliest for Gargano. I still say Gargano's going to be all in AEW. I don't.
Yeah,
I know I know they have contracts coming up here soon. There's going to be some that are going to be really going to kind of let expire. One of them, more than likely, unfortunately, is going to be Brian Cage. I have no idea why. No idea what happened with that. No idea.
Me either. Leo Rush is going to be a free agent. His was really short.
He's
going to be a free agent.
Yeah, I think that's more
Marco.
of a money thing. Marco, Marco was at, I said, GCW, but he's also been pursuing singing and stuff. Marco, I get because you don't need him anymore for what he was in, and they kind of stuck him in a pigeonhole in a way. You can't really have him be on his own because of the way you build him already in AEW.
Yeah.
So, you basically replace Marco with Christian, and Christian's better for the long-term longevity of Jungle Boy. Brian Cage, though, was just a flat-out fucking booking miss. Flat-out booking miss. But there's going to be room for some other people, I think, come in. So I think Johnny Gargano, it's possible. I don't think it'll happen. It's possible you could have Samoa Joe. I know that I've heard that there are people behind the scenes who are pulling hard for Samoa Joe. You can guess who those people are, too. It's not hard. So we'll see what happens. And there's still the
Christopher Daniels.
Christopher Daniels, the Young Bucks, people who have worked with him and lived with him and known him for fucking 30 years. So, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Kazarian, hello. Yeah. Who just re-signed, by the way. Did you see that Kaz re-signed yesterday?
Yeah, he re-signed.
Good.
So there's a few of them that are still out there. But I could see Joey Janela going back to just being GCW.
GCW, maybe doing some New Japan stuff or some stuff like that. Strong.
Yeah. I know some of the women have already expired and they're not even around. Like Swole, as we know about the whole Swole thing.
Swole thing. Yeah.
Which I mean, still Tony, don't fucking tweet, dude. She was voicing her opinion. Again, I'm not gonna get into it. We gotta rehash that.
I don't want to dive into that.
Yeah,
now,
Tony done fucked up. But
Tony's a very passionate man, and because of that, he doesn't necessarily always think before he tweets, and that's what
I appreciate that.
It's okay. But Serena Deeb teased that there's going to be a few. I still think they can add more to their women's division and not lose anybody, and not really lose out. So she made the mention that there's a few that are coming in the near future. Like she said, several that are coming in, so that got everyone's creative juices flowing, thinking Mia Yim. I think Mia's going to go back to Impact personally. I think Mia and Keith will probably both be in Impact.
I agree, but I see Taya Valkyrie coming.
Taya Valkyrie, I could see Athena in AEW. Mm-hmm. I can see Athena in either, honestly. I think what we'll see in AEW, though, is the former Tegan Knox, Nixon Newell. Am I saying that right?
Nixon Newell. I totally agree with that one. I see Nixon Newell and Athena, or Ember Moon for everybody. and Taya Valkyrie. I see those three as the ones going over there. Brandy Lauren's already in Impact. I see Mia Yim going.
Brandy Lauren, her contract might be expired. I think it expired in Impact.
Okay.
But anyway, sorry. What were you saying?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few women that could be coming. I would love to see Keith Lee in an AEW ring, though. Just between you and me.
I want to see a rehash of Keith Lee Adam Cole. I want to see that match so much. The greatest wrestling gif ever, by far.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just have a strong feeling that if they sign contracts, because they might just go a little bit kind of freelance. It's not financially now. It's not what it was 15, 20 years ago. You can freelance and make decent money as a freelance wrestler if you're a big enough name, right? So
yeah,
I could see him freelancing for a little bit, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, showing up at GCW, maybe show up at Revolver, show up at AAW, show Warrior, go up in the Northwest, So I could see him play around with that shit for a little bit. But I think if he signs a contract, him or Mia, I think they're going to sign contracts in the same place. I just feel that,
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
Absolutely.
But Mia Yim in a AEW ring would not be a bad thing.
Yeah,
she actually
returns.
Used.
Yeah, I mean, former Knockouts champion. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Danhausen's a fantastic addition, though. He is so fitting in AEW, such a unique character. I love every second of this. So. That's what we got.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you have anything else you wanted to highlight or talk about? Speak on?
I mean, Ruby Soho's going to be at Pro Wrestling Revolver. So we're going to be, when we go in April, if anybody's going to want to go with us, just let us know. Yeah. Because we're going.
Tickets still not announced yet, being on sale.
A Journey Pros show in February got announced, and they have a few matches announced. Still have a few more to go. Once we have the complete card, we'll definitely want to run that by everybody.
But you missed the segue there. So the tickets still not announced. But tickets are definitely available for Journey Pro. That was the segue, Jamie. Come on, man.
Oh, I'm tired.
It's late for us. Tickets available for Journey Pro show February 18th. Masha Slamovich versus Gary J. That's all I gotta say. There's a bunch of other fucking banger matches, but. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, and JDX versus the Mile High Magnum. Oh.
Yeah, and everybody also, speaking of JDX, be on the lookout because on Tuesday we'll have our interview drop with one JDX. We talk about the Lion Tamer or the Chicago Crab is what he likes to call it. We talk about a lot of good stuff. It's a great interview. He's a great wrestler. Everybody should have eyes on that guy because he's been on Dark. He's gonna be big. Guarantee it.
He's got stuff moving on. He's been at Terminus. He's an up and comer for sure. He's a name you're gonna know in 5 years for sure. Somewhere.
One to watch.
And we spend at least 15-20 minutes geeking out about Batman. So he can't be bad if we're talking about Batman.
Yeah.
So,
he's one of us. Yeah. He's the super mark. It's great.
Check out for that. We'll have more interviews. Like I said, interviews coming on Tuesday. Go check out our interview with Rabbi Jeremy Fine over at Second Wrestling. Give them a holler. A family-friendly promotion. Like I said, we support all types of wrestling. So give him a holler, give him a follow. Go listen to that. Check us out on Tuesday for JDX. We'll be back next Thursday with our regularly scheduled program. And that's all we got. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Jamie, take us home.
Hey, and don't forget to like and subscribe. That means a hell of a lot to us. And tell your friends, of course. But if you are not down with Total Spotfest, I have 3 words for you. Love that Danhausen.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.